Yo, it's Noah. It's been a while, probably like a week and a half since my last upload. I've just been chilling. This is just an update video. Been doing a good amount of reading, playing some video games. I've been like a lifelong gamer and reader, and so I kind of balanced the two. I had two jobs up until recently. It's a long story, but one of them I wasn't really able to give a lot of time to, so we kind of mutually agreed to let myself go. But hey, it's fine. I do have to find a way to supplement some of that income. But honestly, the relationship between that job and I was pretty complicated. So there's kind of a weight lifted off my shoulders, but that doesn't solve anything right now. Today, yeah, like I said, today I'm just going to do an update on what I'm reading going forward. I just bought a bunch of books from Thrift Books, TBR updates, stuff like that. Recently, I've been playing some Octopath Traveler on PC. I think it's okay. It's a little bit. There's eight like really long quests you have to go on that pertain to the characters in the game, and it's kind of the same formula, like travel to their city, meet them, and then it's like a long 10-15 minute cutscenes of just a bunch of exposition, and then you gotta solve the problem they have, which is fine, but it happens 8 times in a row unless you end up grinding or fighting monsters just to pass time. So I'm not the biggest fan of it. I bought it on sale. I think it was less than $20, but I'm kind of considering dropping it. The next game I've been playing is Red Dead Redemption 2. I beat the game a couple years ago, and then when I got to the epilogue, I kind of was just like, oh, I kind of burnt myself out. I like powered through the game really fast, so I'm just not going to play it anymore. And now I'm kind of trying to blow through it again to get to the epilogue so I can actually take my time with the epilogue. So I haven't really been doing a bunch of side quests or anything. I've just been sticking strictly to powering through the main story missions. That way I have a lot to do in the epilogue. My problem last playthrough of Red Dead 2 was I pretty much did everything, and then on the epilogue I was like, oh, what do I do? And I didn't even do like herbalist or gunslinger challenges or anything. I also have been playing Fallout New Vegas, everyone's favorite video game. I think there's something in my hair. Yeah, everybody's favorite video game. It's kind of there's like a weird nostalgia for the game that I shouldn't have, because I actually didn't play it for the first time until probably like 2019. But as someone who's raised in the South, I'm not the most country type of folk, but something about wandering the wasteland, listening to country music, it scratches a certain itch. Yeah, so you can't see it, but right here, there's a big stack of books I have that I just bought and that I'm working my way through. One of them I'm actually using as a mic stand right now, so I'm going to have to move my mic in a second. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with the ones I have bought that just got delivered today. So, and it's a little all over the place. You got like craft novels, you got fiction, biography. So the first one I'm going to get into is The Art and Craft of Novel Writing by Oakley Hall. Oakley Hall, you might know from he's the guy who wrote Warlock, which kind of has like a little bit, I think it kind of got a little bit of a revival from the NYRB print of it. Honestly, all I've read is Warlock, and I really enjoyed it, and I have really not much interest to read anything Oakley Hall did. Warlock is part of like a trilogy. I almost want to say unofficial, but I don't think that's true. But and then I think he wrote like some thriller-y-ish books. But I was like, oh, as someone who writes poetry and works on short stories and stuff, like you gotta find a craft book by an author you like. So that was pretty cool. The formatting is cool too. You get like the tips and then some end notes from different authors. Like there's quotes from Henry James about the structure of a novel. There's quotes from E.M. Forster about aspects of the novel. All these are secondhand, so whoever's Mr. Markley, I have your book now. Um, yeah, I'm excited to read this. I'm currently kind of working on a short story just to kind of just for practice because I haven't wrote one in a while. Um, haven't written one. Damn, English. And so that's pretty cool. Um, a book I bought recently that I'm working my way through is actually Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. I saw Twelfth Night in production, like I saw a play of it, and it was really funny. Now I'm not gonna sit here and act like I can just pick up Shakespeare and immediately grasp everything and love it. There's some language to get used to, but over time, I've slowly gotten more used to it. For obviously the people in the plays don't talk how we talk these days, so you have to kind of get over that. But it's pretty funny so far. My favorite is Sir Toby and how much he drinks, and I think it's Andrew is the other guy that talks about being like a ladies' man and drinking a lot. Um, just as a guy, I know quite a bit of dudes that drink a lot. So and are fools, so it works out. Another book I'm currently reading, I bought kind of on a whim. I think I saw, I don't want to say Penguin, but one of the major publishers kind of posted on Instagram talking about its release and translation that glare's terrible, is Butter by Asako Yuzuki. This cover is super cool in my opinion. I don't know who did this, but whoever did this cover needs to get like some sort of attention, if you know what I mean, from their preferences. This is straight up a thriller slash mystery novel, or I don't know, I probably just screwed that up, but it's inspired by a true story. So far, I'm only like 60 something pages in, but I enjoy it quite a bit. It's actually about this journalist who is trying to, work a case on a serial killer. And the serial killer gets captured. Her name is, I think it's Manako Kaji. That's the serial killer's name, and she's known for luring men into her presence by cooking them like Michelin star quality food, because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And so she lures them in like that, cooks some really good meals, rice and all this good stuff. And one of the meals in the book is rice with butter and a drop of soy sauce. And she ends up killing them after she lures them in. And I guess the thing about, like, one of the weird things I've noticed thus far is in the beginning parts of the book, there's a lot of talk about how Manako, the serial killer, is like fat and ugly and men are being mean towards her. So like, why is she getting all this attention? But then our main character meets Manako later on, and she's like really pretty and beautiful and all this and that. And so it's like, wait, what's going on here? Really cool book thus far. Like, I saw it at Barnes and Noble and I was like, oh, that's a cool cover. And my grandfather has cows, so yeah. My cat's on my desk. I don't know if you saw him earlier. The next book I got is from an author who I'm kind of like trying to study a little bit, that I've learned to enjoy a lot. I've read 2 of his books, Angle of Repose and Remembering Laughter, and that's Wallace Stegner. I got Big Rock Candy Mountain, which is pretty much kind of a autobiography of sorts. From what I actually know the ending of the book, but I'm about the journey. Pretty much from what I know, this is probably spoiler it's about our main character's upbringing and his relationship with his dad, which I believe is pretty strained. And then he like doesn't have a lot of stability. His parents, aka his dad, they keep moving around like multiple times a year, once a year, like they don't really stay in one place. So I believe the gist of it is someone trying to kind of find their place in the world, literally. Really excited. Wallace Stegner is an author that he lived and died before my time, but it's someone who I've kind of learned to admire a lot, with his views on home, environment, environmentalism, conservatism or conservationism. Let me not mix those two. That's rough. Yeah, so that's bad. I feel like I just said something terrible. But no, so it's yeah. I'm excited to read it. It's kind of like a sneaky long book. It doesn't look that big, but this thing's like 500 pages, I think. 500 and something. I'm really excited to read it. Wallace Stegner taught at Stanford and I think had a short stint at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and those are two places I've thought about applying for like master's programs. Someone like me, they're probably like, "Oh, you're just a stupid little guy with long hair." But yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess. Excuse me. Allergies. Another one, this is about a little bit of a fanboyism, is the biography of Wallace Stegner written by Jackson J. Benson. I've actually checked this out from the library and read like a quarter of it. And so I'll probably just start from the beginning again, but because I don't remember what chapter I left on, or I might have left off in the middle of a chapter, but literally it's a biography. If you know what that means, you know what this is. So I'm not going to harp too long on it. Yeah, one of the only hardcovers. I don't really do a lot of hardcover just because like it's kind of a pain in the butt, and I have to drive a lot, so like transporting them is crazy. Kind of a weird one I got that I picked up based off the name, and because I like archipelago books, is A Guardian Angel Recalls by Willem Frederick Hermans, translated from Dutch by David Colmer. As you can see, this book is like a perfect square. I actually didn't realize it was like that, which is fine. I believe Matt over at Colossum Books was like blurbing this in one of his videos. Yeah, literally, it's like a perfect square. This is the first archipelago books I've ever owned. It's an ex-library copy, which I don't really care. I'm a college student, so AKA broke. And so like if I can get a used copy of a book for a couple bucks and it just so happens to have a library tag on it, that's fine. I don't care. It's better than spending like 20 something for new. And sometimes used books, I've seen used books be like 14, 15, which is not much, it depends on what you call a lot. But I was just like, I've seen books that are like 100 plus years old and they're just normal prints, but they're like $15 used, and I'm like, that's a little bit weird. This is from the Jefferson County Public Library. I'm sure there's a lot of those. Yeah, let me see. One more. This is actually a package deal between two. Hopefully my mic is coming through well. This mic's weird. I feel like I have to get like really close to it for it to actually come through good. I got Hayden Carruth's collected shorter poems. I actually don't know much about Hayden Carruth. I'm about to get to this, but I was reading an essay collection, or a bunch of essays from Wendell Berry, and he was shouting out Hayden Carruth's poems. And I forget which poem he highlighted, but he highlighted a Hayden Carruth poem and the like setting and the linguistics behind it, and it was really cool. So I bought a secondhand Hayden Carruth volume, and I mean I think this is an ex-library too, as you can see with the tag, and there's like a random black Sharpie thing at the top. But I'm like the least picky when it comes to books. I don't care. I have a book where there's no joke, like dad jokes written on like every single page, and I don't care because it's like, oh, this book made it from XYZ to Arkansas for me to read it, and this dude got jokes. So it's cool. The book I'm reading, let me lower this. The book I'm reading right now, I'm reading Wendell Berry's Imagination in Place. Love the painting. Literally, this painting of red raspberries on the front is actually my wallpaper on my phone. It's really calming. The essays in here all have to do with imagination and place, and the tie between them. What is it? Like wearing your origins on your sleeve, using your imagination, allowing yourself to use your imagination, building fiction out of your imagination. I believe in the first essay in this book, he just straight up is like, yeah, fiction should be like mostly imagination, obviously. Don't worry about what's real and what's fake. Like, just do it. Which I almost said I admire. As someone who writes short stories and stuff, sometimes I feel like I have a little bit of a hard time just being like, oh, let me come up with a bunch of stuff. I've also tried to write stuff kind of like historical fiction. That way you have something to ground it, but those attempts didn't get too far. So, but no, this is a library checkout, not actually, I don't own this book. I actually have to finish it. I think I got like 30, 40 pages left. Still working my way through poetry. I probably read one. I usually buy poetry books and then I'll read the same poetry book for like a year straight, trying to figure everything out, you know? There's one more book I got. Let me see. Where's it at? Let me see. I got this one. Hold on. I got some more Hayden Carew, Scrambled Eggs and Whiskey. I believe this is more so later poems as opposed to the collected shorter poems I showed you earlier. This one has like a bunch of writing in it too, which their handwriting is like really big, so I guess that's like the only thing that kind of stinks. But like those aren't my notes, but that's fine. I'm cool. I almost said I'm dope with that. I can't talk. Yeah, I swear there was one more book I had, but I don't remember. Let me look around for it real quick. Oh yeah, I finished A Stranger and Sojourner by Billy D. Higgins. It's about a free slave in antebellum South in the Arkansas, Missouri territories. That was really cool if you're into that stuff. I have the book, but it's way over there. Over there. I passed the litter box on the floor. If you're into Southern history and also into, like some antebellum stuff, it's you can buy it through the University of Arkansas Press. Just look up Billy D. Higgins and you'll find it. I swear there was one more book I had and I'm like drawing a blank. Maybe that was it. Oh yeah, no, here it is. Pardon my stupidity. This is going to be such a fanboy pick because I think I've shown a bunch of different things. This is the third Wallace Stegner book I'm about to show in this same video. And that is the collected stories of Wallace Stegner. Yeah, I just spoke about the guy. Wallace Stegner is probably one of my favorite authors, if not my favorite right now. I don't know, just something about, like, I don't even want to sit here and say I know a lot about the guy, because I really don't. But just something about the way he writes. I like the way he writes because he doesn't... I can't put words in his mouth. I can't assume a lot, but I believe the way his writing philosophy, or rather his philosophy of writing, is that at the end of the day, just tell a story. It doesn't have to be super literary. You don't have to wow people with your words and your choice of words and things of that nature. And that's kind of how I felt, because I feel like I felt a lot of pressure, especially since college, to just like turn writing into this like really, really competitive thing where you're like, how can I sound the smartest? What kind of big words can I use to like wow these people or get a reaction, get people to tell me I should publish it? But I kind of one day just was like, like that stuff matters to an extent, but like don't, like, stop being competitive. Just be a good storyteller. Your stories will live on for the people that appreciate them. And like at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I can't speak on his notoriety, Wallace Stegner's notoriety, but it seems like from what I look up on the internet that he kind of didn't get a ton of love like when he was alive, and I guess still might not today. He's kind of like one of those if you know authors where the people who like him really do like him. But yeah, I kind of lost my point, but I don't know. I just really resonate with his basically just life story. He moved around a lot, which I did, but in the same place. I've lived in the same place for like my whole life, pretty much. And so I have a home. Like one of Wallace's big things is like finding a home, finding a place to call home. And like I have that place to call home, but he traveled a lot and I didn't. And so I get a little bit envious of like his travels. And, you know, I tell myself I need to like try living in different cities for a couple years and move around a little bit, you know, sign like a year lease and then pack up and go or travel. And it's kind of inspirational in a way. But that's it for the video. This probably ran a little long. I tried to be more concise, but it's been a little bit, so I'm just going to talk. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.